Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. Um, Happy St. Patrick's Day. Uh, St. Patrick's Day is a big tradition in both my family and my wife's family. Hence, she's cartoon Irish, but I just wanted to share with you some of the traditional Irish things. Here's a green cup of coffee drink. Um, and this is a Korean barbecue place I know makes this dish. And for St. Patrick's Day, they made a special one called a green cronut. Now, I'm going to tell you what that is first. I'm going to describe it to you. This is special, apparently. They make this thing on weekends, but this one in particular was special, okay? So what's a cronut, according to them? It's 12-hour smoked brisket, homemade bourbon chipotle sauce, stir-fried smoked kimchi, melted 3 cheese, crispy fried bacon, between 2 glazed donuts, and they color it green for St. Patrick's Day. I saw this sign. I called them on our way back home, and they made one for me, but it wasn't green. Now, I'm going to be honest. The camera work is probably making this look a lot grosser than it is, but that is a glazed donut. It's not green again, and I'm not the kind of man who's going to be like, listen, you advertise that, but I'm making a YouTube video, and my viewers are really going to give a shit if this isn't green, okay? So I was just like, yeah, I'll take it, whatever. Just here's the money. I've got to get home. Part of the reason, too, is unfortunately, it turns out once we got home, my daughter wasn't feeling well. She has a bit of a fever. Not too bad, but, I had to go out and then went to the local apothecary and was like, and there's like a teenage woman working there, and she's like, I was like, you have children's Motrin, and she's like, shoulder Motrin, and I go, children's Motrin, and she goes, oh, I thought you said shoulder Motrin. Then I was gonna be like, that's not really a thing, and I'm like, bitch, I don't need your whole fucking life story here. Just tell me where the goddamn medicine is so I can get the fuck out. I mean, I didn't say that obviously because look, she's just trying to get to the end of her shift, man. I've been there. So I was like kind of my internal like just shut up, I want to get out of here too, kind of thing. Um, but like externally, I kind of gave one of those fake smiles and just like made a noise, just kind of like nah. So anyway, let's try the chonut. I will say it's very sticky because it is between again 2 glazed donuts. Um, there's brisket, 3 cheeses, bacon. This is very New Jersey then. Oh, oh my God. Okay, the place that made this, it's actually a really good like barbecue place, and they make really good stuff. But this is a very like stereotypical New Jersey thing, like a thing you'd see on like that Jersey Shore show that like it's like over the top kind of thing, and that like not really what you do in New Jersey unless you're pretending you're, you know what I mean? Like it's like that chocolate covered crap I buy that I usually do on this channel, but nobody really eats it. I just do it because F it. I'm a bit of a gastronaut, as you might say. I like to try weird shit. So this is like if you put a lot of good things and you just threw them all together with no regard for anything. Like my hands are very sticky from sugar glaze, and it was like spicy kimchi and meat. And it's like it doesn't even not work. It's just like, yeah, we're here. Whatever. Here's some spice. Here's some salt. Here's some sugar. Yeah, whatever. It's all good, right? And you're like, yeah, maybe if we'd focused on one area. I mean, it's not bad. It's just like a jack of all trades. Anyway, I came here to do 2 things besides eat in front of you and stare. Um, I wanted to tell you my developer diary. Now, some of you might say, excuse me, Beef, but a developer diary is when you talk more about the game or software or whatever that you're developing, and not like a real diary where you just talk about your life like you're doing now. To which I say, listen here, you dumb motherfucker. I really didn't intend for a piece of the cronut to be hanging from my finger when I pointed like that, so that was kind of ridiculous. I think that was a strand of cheese. I can't believe how messy. Well, alright, I guess I can. But listen, a dev diary can be whatever you want. So, like, just a side note, the chocolate covered stuff I've eaten before has been like, it's kind of gross. Doesn't really match. This is like, it's not gross. It's like, it's just more like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I forgot to mention too. Went to bed at 3 a.m. I was streaming 70s anime robot Geppy X, which is some really good shit. I've been streaming a lot of weird Japanese games that I don't know what I've never heard of before, just to see. Anyway, and my daughter woke us up at 7, so I haven't slept really. I slept 4 hours. It was nice. But we were talking Dev Diary. So I'm still working on that cube thing. I did a lot of programming, and Johnny McBain, who does the podcast music for Retsu Talk, is doing that too. That is to say, you know, like I'm paying him to do that soundtrack, and everything he has made has been like really incredible, and I'm like really happy to talk that up. Like that, the music he has provided me is like really like AAA tier stuff, and nothing I make will ever match that. So that sucks because I'm gonna have a really shitty game with like the best soundtrack ever. But worse is all the artists I've talked to have now gotten really busy, which is probably their way of saying, Slowbeef, you're a terrible client. But, you know, but they're too nice, so. This is so confusing. This whole thing. Whatever. Oh. You know what it is? The glazed donut looks like a really good bun, but anyway. Alright. So if you want to do art, and you want to get paid to do art, and you feel like you can do professional level art about the movie Cube, only it's anime, and it's in a PC98 style, which means high contrast colors, that glossy anime from like the 80s, 90s, but with a low color palette with a lot of dithering. If you Google PC98 visual novel, which you shouldn't, you'll see what I mean. Just don't do that at work. There's that one game like VA11 Hall A, which like I think they went for that. I'm holding like fake boobs in front of me. I'm not totally convinced got there. I don't know. There's like something about it. I appreciate the effort. It was good, you know. Let me tell you why that game bugs me. Let's just go completely off the rails here. Whoever wrote that game has never been in a fucking bar in their life. Alright, I know they have, but like there's a part where your bartender, her name's Jillian, right? Her owner sees some girl, she like gets caught in an explosion or something, and she's like knocked out, unconscious on the road, right? And they bring her in, and she's like, you know, get better in my bar, sit here. And the girl wakes up, and she's totally obnoxious to you, the bartender. And she's like, are you going to slip something in my drink? Blah, blah, blah. And your bartender character you can't control what she's saying, and she's just like, listen, you can totally, if you think I'm going to slip something in your drink, you can totally go down the street and get it like tested. They sell these strips, and she's like, well, how do I know that you're not in cahoots with the people selling those test strips? And she's like, I'm not. Listen, I'll get you this drink on the house and any drink you order tonight. Which I'm like, there is no fucking bartender in the world who would respond to accusations of you're going to slip something in my drink with anything other. Why don't you get the fuck out? You know? Or at the very least, I'm not doing that, and I don't think you should be drinking alcohol right now. You know, like there's like it was just like I remember playing it and again the character's like you can get that tested and I'm like that's really too nice. And then she's like and this drink's on the house and I'm like yeah, she goes and all your drinks are on there. Like no, that's not. I mean, it was the cyberpunk future in that game, so maybe they do things different. I don't know. I'm just bartenders aren't that kind of. I don't know. I'm not a bartender. Maybe they are. I don't know. They're not though. Where was I? Boss Baby. So here's the thing. My daughter and I, every Saturday morning, we'd get up. Sometimes my son would go to bed, takes a nap, and my wife's like, "Yeah, I could use a nap actually for a couple hours because I was watching the kids all night, because you work and all that." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So my daughter and I would have a little tradition where we'd watch a bad movie. So I've seen like the Emoji Movie, and then we saw The Boss Baby. And it turns out, unfortunately, my plan failed because she really likes The Boss Baby. And I've now seen that movie like 6 times. She's apparently seen it like 20. And I can't post this clip because YouTube's copyright stuff, like the way YouTube evaluates fair use is they go, that's not fair use. And it's like, but it's only 20 seconds and nobody's going to sift through this video just to get to that 20-second clip of Boss Baby that we're talking about. And they're like, nah, sorry, it's not fair use unless like you take the video and you inset it somewhere, reverse it, maybe throw like a color filter on top of it, then it's fair use. And you're like, nah, I think I'm really tricking a robot. And they're like, no, that's legally fair use then. So that's how you do it. But I'm not going to bother because I've not slept. This is the most out of hand thing I've ever eaten. It's like, you take a bite, and it's like, oh, sugary donut. It's like delicious, but not right. Because now, here's meat. And it's like, that meat's really good, but like, again, my brain is like, well, I don't know what's going on here. Ridiculous. Anyway, so there's a scene in Boss Baby, which the first couple times I saw it, I'm like, it's me. Like, I'm not, what happens is the Boss Baby is explaining to his brother, the 7-year-old kid, who's like the kid's like, why can you talk? And why are you wearing a suit? And why are you a boss? And he's like, play ballot. Boss like, I can explain it, Tim. And he like has this pacifier he pulls out and he's like, I want you to suck this. And the kid's like, I'm not sucking that, you suck it. And he's like, no, come on, suck it. And he's like, no, you suck that, I don't know where it's been. And he's like, come on, Tim, don't you want to know where babies come from? And like the first couple times I'm like, there's a double entendre, right? Like they're trying to like sneak a joke to adults and it's like really too far. And I'm like, maybe not. And then the third time I'm like, no, I don't think this is just me. So I tweeted it. And if you want to see that video, that's just follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @HBomberGuy, GUY, and just follow me there, and I'll post stuff about Boss Baby. Anyway, let's take another bite of this. So another weird thing about Boss Baby, though, is Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, if you just bite the bacon, it's okay. Jimmy Kimmel's in it. And Lisa Kudrow. They play the Boss Baby's parents. They talk in it, but there's no, like, jokes. Like, they just say really, like, generic kind of things, like, Tim, are you playing okay with your brother? good. There's like one joke scene where they're mad at Tim, who seems to be harming Boss Baby, who they acknowledge is wearing a suit, but they don't know about him talking, and they're like, Tim, you're grounded, right, honey? Grounded, yeah. And he's like, for 2, and she's like, 3 weeks, 3 days, weeks, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing that, like, the husband's not sure what the punishment's going to be, so he's kind of doing that half answer, and then she's like, complete sentence, you know, that you weren't expecting, that kind of bit, but, like, I don't know, like, Jimmy Kimmel's, yeah, I think he's funny, and he's just not utilized at all here, so it's just like, maybe they just wanted to waste money. It's like, Alec Baldwin's the Boss Baby, right? And then Steve Buscemi is the villain, and he's actually good. You don't know it's him. It's, you know, I was kind of surprised, but then yeah, it's like Jimmy Kimmel and Tobey Maguire and like Lisa Kudrow, and they probably paid a lot of money for them to barely be in this movie. I don't work in Hollywood, which is odd because of like content like this. I think it's unfair. Let's also talk about Deb Diary, yeah. Originally, I was going to have 8 characters in the dodecahedron. I'm not naming it that, I'm joking. I was going to have 8 characters, and I'm like, that's kind of overkill for some of the grander stuff I'm planning. So I pared it down to about 6, although I really like the 7th, but I was thinking, you know, 8, that's the number of corners on a cube. 6, number of faces on a cube, you know. Kind of keep like a thing going here, and that way, like, after it's published, people could be like, wow, you know, Slowbeef's really smart. He did all these like fucked up weird things with numbers in the story, which is actually because I'm like really I'm not a good writer, and I just use those as like hard outlines for things. Whatever. 27 death scenes. Anyway, so the thing is, it was originally going to pick like one of these characters, and you could unlock some to play and things like that. But then I'm like, nah, it's your first thing. Let's just limit scope. Just one person. So I have a protagonist. I have a couple characters. They're good. Good people. I'm just trying to write story and like get some more sprite art and things like that, so I can kind of like, I'm sort of getting a feel for how they talk to each other and all that. But what I do is I take all the tasks I have, right, and I put them at the top of my script file. You know, I'm writing this in RenP. And every time I want to work on something, I use a random number generator and say, I got 47 issues I want to clear out. 23, let's work on that. Oh, I can't work on that. It's a blocker. I need an artist, so let's just re-roll. 42, okay, I'll refactor, you know, and I'll do stuff like that. And you might say to me, I thought you were going to grad school for business. Like, that's barely even a system. You can't even make a Gantt chart out of that. And I'm like, oh, how the fuck did you know what that is? And you're right, but it's just me on the project, so I guess it's not a big deal. It's not like there's a lot of moving parts outside of paying musicians and artists. All right, now listen. Last thing before I go. Twitter. I don't like it, but I will admit sometimes it's okay. My friend Ty Tuesday tweeted a thing that was controversial and shouldn't have been, where he was like, yo, fighting game community, if you want an announcer who's like not cringy and a couple other things, I'm your guy. And he very clearly meant it in like sort of a non-serious kind of way, you know, like just like a fuck around sort of like thing. But like a couple people were like, what, you mean to say other fighting game commentators are cringy? And like, if you know Ty is, nah, like, he's not that dude. You know, like, if he wants to come at you, he'll at you, you know, he's not going to just do the whole, like, I'm mentioning some people on the DL, right, you know, because he doesn't use the term DL, that's me, but, you know, I get it, and here's the other thing, too, is that, like, there's already a new challenger to the fighting game commentating Tournament Throne, okay? And it's me. So if you'd like to see a little snippet of my abilities and talents, here you go.
Oh, hey, this guy's got a tricky cross-up against projectiles, gonna combo that into a 2-in-1. Wow, that had a tiny frame window to land that Pokemon wake-up. Hey, lucky he ain't going up against a pick with armor, that'd be a dusty matchup. Watch out for them blockchain make-out session dupes and us, thank goodness for damage scaling, otherwise that magic pixel would have run out on anime diddy long time ago. Gotta watch for that shade throw on that W, let me tell you, bob him into an aerial wave once more in my day, if you know what I mean. Oh, what an upset, it's like he's playing footsies with his grandpa Joe, don't even know what's going on in that headspace, gonna bounce that bank check into a combo, and that spelled sex with the CK, not the QUE, go! Look at this muffin linking into that, utilizing that frame damage, gonna ward dial that combo, a 2-3-6 into a walking 720, and I think won't wait once this is going out to be a meaty mirror match, folks. But if you think our challenge is taking that, you can focus on that dash, cancel that, and Lady of Guadalupe is gonna tune that piano input next Tuesday. Whoa, bury through that combo, and the beast is least juices loose. They gauge that range and think the magic token pixel is no ring outs. Well, Bob, watch them lights. We have a winner, I think. That's what you get for taking advantage of priority when all the viewers orderly pleasure each other at the same time. Hey there, Danny, is it just me or did that guy take out of a taunt with a classic Ogi on a wheat mixed into a 3-meter special? But if you can dang in a god-tier assist, it'll be a quick rush downtown if you catch my potato. Whoa, watch that lariat on that easy sweep. Gotta be careful that the honeycomb knows my games. You're gonna have to win a trick game of rock, paper, scissors, and Jane Ken Pawn, which is a country I worship like a god-tier grappler, played by a champion with a gyroscope fight stick. If you catch my air fireball, oh, that's a Tatsu Buggy roll and a half, if you know what I'm saying. Watch that guy link into an anal link with love hotel attacks with, whoa! Zonkaiken! Zonkaiken! Zonkaiken!
Okay. Now that I've got a ton of sugar and grease on my keyboard, let's never talk about this again.